What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy TreJuanJohnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Always feel free to comment. Just please make sure you keep those comments respectful. And if you're interested in supporting your favorite podcaster, yours truly, my Cash App will be in the episode description. That's going to be hashtag TREJUAN Johnson, but that will be in the episode description. Appreciate everybody that supports the show. I need to start give out some gifts next year. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm pretty close to 100 subscribers, so want to get that done first. If I get 100 subscribers, I'll get a little gift for all 100 of said subscribers. So make sure you guys are liking, commenting, but also sharing with your friends and family. Um, I know how I get down at this point, man. Really to try to talk a little ball, some sports knowledge here, um, and always open to other topics. So if ever I feel like I'm getting stale, or you as the audience feel like I'm getting stale in what I decide to cover, hey, make your voices heard in the comment section. Say, hey, Trey, man, you got to talk about this team more, this player more, this sport more. I am all ears and eyes, and am always willing to do what the fans want. Hell, I'll even have you come on the show and talk about something, especially if it's something where you have a lot of insight on the subject matter. Would love to have you join and give your spill on it. So um, this is always not just an educational thing for you guys and just kind of giving my opinion. It's an educational thing for me too, and learn a little bit more. So, last week had my boy Patty on and learned a lot more about Tulane football than I thought I was. And just just kind of what goes into that aspect of the program and where they are, where they're trying to be, and all those sorts of things. So always open. But look, as y'all can see, I'm still riding with my Alabama Crimson Tide, man. Uh, Pretty shitty weekend. Um, Losing Oklahoma when you double them in yards, win the time of possession, um, win the third down battle, but you lose in special teams, you lose in the turnover margin or the turnover battle, and you lose the game ultimately. And this was almost the game that I think most Alabama fans were waiting for. And what I mean by that was it's easy to say we're spoiled, right? When we say, man, the offense is looking a little lethargic in the second half, man. Like we got to be able to score points. Our defense is playing some championship level football, but our offense isn't fitting the bill. We aren't efficient blocking as well as we could, both in the pass game and the run game. We aren't as efficient running the ball, trusting our eyes and getting downhill quickly. We aren't as efficient in terms of getting the ball out on time. This was something that coaches talked about with Ty Simpson after week one, the week one loss to Florida State, and how, hey, the plays are there, get the ball out. We don't always need the big play type deal. And you saw him really do well in that regard earlier, like, as the season went on, and hasn't quite gotten the deep ball to go. And so therefore teams are starting to sit on us a little bit more because they're just daring us to connect on the deep ball, and we haven't yet, which is a far cry from last year, right? Which is insane. We connected on the deep balls, but we didn't connect on some of the short intermediate stuff that we needed to kind of keep drives going. Um, and I will say this, and I'll get more into the nitty gritty of just the Alabama performance in general up until this point, and you know, how they have to start putting some things together, especially offensively, to truly win an SEC championship and a national championship. But I will say this: I walked away from that Oklahoma game, and I've been kind of feeling this way for weeks, even amongst the wins. Is Alabama has no game changers. We've heard that term kind of flown out over the past year or so when Cam Newton kind of was talking about there being game managers and game changers at the quarterback position, and I think that's a perfect example of the Alabama Crimson Tide, especially offensively and just beyond the quarterback position. Uh, I think there are guys that are hell of players. I think Ty Simpson is one hell of a player. I think he can continue to play himself into being the first round pick in next year's draft. I think Ryan Williams, Hollywood, is a amazing player going through a sophomore slump. Maybe can revive himself towards the end of this year and into his junior year. Jeremy Bernard has come on strong this year. In my opinion, has established himself as wide receiver one. I think we have some talented guys on the O line. I think we have some talented guys in the running back room. But at least this season, they have shown themselves to be guys. That's it, guys. Guys, you can win with most certainly. You don't need superstars, right? To to win national titles. I don't believe you do, but I think you at least need one game changer, a person that you can lean on come hell or high water. And they don't have that. And I want to start with the offense for a second because one, that's the unit that's been the most underwhelming, right? In terms of the the name power and the star power coming into the year on that side of the ball and just not producing at the rate that you need them to produce. More importantly, in the second half, they are one of the worst second half scoring teams in college football. They scored what? They scored seven. Yeah, they scored second half points last game. Scored three against LSU, and like you've kind of seen the numbers go down. Um, where they aren't putting points on the board and they're moving the ball. That's the issue. They're moving the ball. They're in positions where they can definitely get six, and they're just missing plays here and there. And that's what I think when you don't have a game changer, you have game managers. One, I think I want to start from top to bottom, right? So when I say game managers and the difference between a game manager and a game changer, to me, a game manager is someone that they can do just enough to win. The mindset is I'm going to try to be as efficient as I possibly can. I'm not going to really take too many risks. I'm just going to kind of do what I do. And if I win that way, it may not always look pretty, but hey, we win. A win is a win. And then I think you have game changers that have this mentality that says, I will not allow us to lose. I will elevate my play so much so that they, if they try to take me away just my level of intensity, I'm still going to make plays, but my teammates are going to eat off of that and feed off of that intensity, right? And they're going to be emboldened to make plays. That's what a game changer, in my opinion, does. And I just don't think that exists on the Alabama football team right now. And so I want to start at the coaching, and then I want to go to offense, and I want to go to defense. Coaching. I believe, and everybody keeps saying, "Oh well, they don't. The board doesn't have all his guys, and Grubb's doing a lot with a little." Which I do think he's doing some things schematically that could help us out, and that we aren't executing. So I will admit that. But the second half play calling, man, like, where is the killer instinct? Where is the desire to put 50 on your opponent? Where is the desire to be explosive and to be a force? Where is the desire to be able to lean on teams and dominate them offensively in the trenches, in the run game? I just don't see Alabama having that. And I feel like from the coaching side, they have put just an immense amount of pressure on Ty Simpson, similar to the pressure they put on Jalen Milroe last year. And I know people had their beefs and their comments about Jalen, but if you really paid attention, it was him or bust. And another year in a row, it is Ty Simpson or bust. And you just can't win consistently in this league, meaning the SEC, and in college football when you just put so much pressure on the quarterback position. Keep in mind, Ty Simpson is in his first year as the starting quarterback of Alabama. And there has to be a level of protection of him. I think he's still a really good player, But again, I don't think he's a guy, and I've said this going into his draft prospect status. He's not a guy to me that you put in and you say, hey, man, here's the keys. You're my franchise guy. You start day one. I think he should go to a team where he gets to sit and learn. Probably not the whole year. I think he's a little bit more seasoned enough to be able to kind of come in maybe in the week 5, week 6 after going through an offseason program with a veteran guy in the lead, right? But I don't think, but he's not someone that I'm just throwing out there. And saying, fix my team, fix my franchise, be the guy we build around right now. Um, and it almost feels like Alabama has done that to Ty to his detriment because I think you're starting to see him late in the year press a little bit more, really try to make that big play, maybe hold on to the ball a little bit longer. And you saw the same things happen last year with Jalen Milroe, even to the point where he wasn't even using his legs as much. And we're seeing it now with Ty Simpson, who's one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the country, especially coming out of high school, and he just doesn't use his legs. And I almost feel like we kind of just, do a play here, a play there, a play here, a play there. We don't really go for the jugular. We don't play with pace and tempo. We're just kind of out there, lackadaisical. And I think that falls on coaching first and foremost. And it's almost kind of like when you look at those guys, they're kind of lackadaisical. You don't see Coach DeBoer really have an ounce of really like in your face type mentality. You don't really see that with Ryan Grubb. You don't see that with Nick Sheridan. Coach Shep definitely has it, but still kind of your wide receiver coach. So not necessarily in the leadership position, I think, from the hierarchy standpoint, to where he can really get like in these players' faces and really demand more and more and more. I'm pretty sure he's doing this in practice, but like when we get in the game situation, and he could be doing it on the sidelines as well, but the eyes aren't on him either, right? Um, so I I think play calling one, it needs to start there. I think we need to be more aggressive offensively. I think we need to stop this everybody get along offensive line matchup where we're just letting everybody rotate in like this is Pee Wee football. Pick your five and go with it. If anything about my standpoint, sorry, if anything on my standpoint about not having a game changer, it starts with the offensive line. We can't even pick a starting five. We don't have five guys we're comfortable with just rolling out there and saying you're playing 60 minutes. We don't have that. And that's an issue. Chemistry and timing is everything, and it starts in the trenches. And you can't be mixing and matching people all over. Hell, Caden Proctor is probably the only mainstay, right? And shit, even they move him around and put him at running back and tight end and all these different things, trying to be all cute. Pick your five. We are approaching the final 2 weeks of the regular season. Pick your five. Be men who are supposed to be leaders of young men and say, hey, you have put enough film out there, you have put enough reps in practice to either say you're the guy I'm rolling with or you're not the guy. And you just got to wait your turn and compete next year. Because guess what? This whole thing of, oh, we don't play them, they're not going to get reps or they're going to hit the portal. Well, shit, they're going to hit the portal if you're doing this mix and match with them because they're not getting enough in-game reps to be able to show the next level what they're capable of doing. You're talking about a guy, Jaden Roberts, who's about to graduate with 2 degrees, by the way. Congratulations. Who is clearly your best right guard. Clearly. We keep rolling Vandermark out there. Like it's malpractice at this point. And I'm not saying Jaden doesn't have his faults. He does. And of course we know, the injury history and things of that nature. But hell, the line looks a whole lot better when he's on it, especially in the run game. Carroll, right tackle, freshman. He's better than Formby. And I think Formby's been playing relatively better in recent weeks, but I still got a true freshman that's better than this guy. Why am I still rolling them out? This everybody get along, everybody gets an opportunity. We have to stop this. That is not sports. You play the guys that are the better guys to roll out with. And at this point, you got to keep it going because right now, you have hurt chemistry with the offensive line, which therefore hurts the chemistry with Ty in the offensive line, hurts the chemistry with the running backs in the offensive line, hurts the chemistry with the quarterback Ty Simpson and his receivers in terms of when this person is in, am I going to have enough time versus when this person is in? And it's just hard, right? You're just making life hard, harder than it has to be as a coaching staff. Pick your best players and roll with it, please. Which, as we dive further into the offense, I think Ty Simpson is one hell of a player, but he's not a player you should be resting everything on. He needs support. Running backs, where are you? Like I just went at length talking about our offensive line, but it ain't all bad. They've been putting some good reps on tape, and it's your fault that it looks like a loss when we look at the down and distance. Jam, what you came to Alabama to play football, not tap dance, son. You're tap dancing in the backfield. You're not utilizing your vision. There's room on the backside where at the very least you may have to make one man miss. I think that's a better bargain of you at your size and your ability making a linebacker miss than having to try to run through a wall of a bunch of defensive tackles and defensive ends. When your offensive line has cleared that out, so you can have these one-on-one opportunities with someone that's either your size or a little bit smaller that you can take advantage of and have some explosive plays in the run game, put us in down and manageable down and distance situations. You're a senior. You're about to graduate. No eligibility left. We're, we're campaigning for the next level. And right now, you're not putting anything on tape that if I'm a member of an organization, one of the 32, I'm not spending a pick on you. I may give you a draft invite because you had the script A on your helmet once upon a time. But that's about it. You're probably only making it to the pros based on Alabama recognition. But you're not putting it on tape, son. 348 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, less than 4 yards per carry. That is pathetic in college football right now. You can if you only give me 3.6 in college, I'm a little nervous about what you're gonna give me at the next level with the way you're running. I'm just telling you that right now. Kevin Riley, who's kind of was a big guy early on with Jan Miller being hurt, second on the team in rush yards, 3.9 yards per carry. Ain't all that bad, but we saw him have some struggles. Same thing with Vision, trying to do the explosive plays. Daniel Hill, who I think is emerging as running back one, not just what he's doing running the ball. I feel like he just gets after it. But what he's doing as a pass blocker more times than not did get blown up against Oklahoma on a corner blitz, which is insane. But I think it had less to do with strength and more of him not being where he was supposed to be and then being caught out of position. But he's a guy averaging 3.7 yards per carry. I need 15 to 20 touches. Grub, again, what are we doing with this get along type of rotation? Find guys that are productive. You come to these press conferences every week, and everybody's asking you about the run game, and you're like, well, shit, it ain't what I'm calling, and it ain't the offensive line. I'm doing my job, and they're doing their job. The running backs aren't doing their job. But you continuously put the same running back rotation out there. Ain't on the players, ain't on the young men. That's on you. Like your job is to give the team the best possible way to win the game. And if this whole well, I'm gonna keep challenge them until they get it. Well, sir, they haven't gotten it. So Grub, make a change. Coach DeBoer, make a change. Or otherwise, it's on you. I can't blame Jan Miller. I can point out what I think Jan's not doing well, but he's not doing it well. And he hasn't been doing it well for weeks. So if you aren't going to make the change and you're going to keep throwing him out there and he's not making a change, well, that's on you as a coaching staff. We got to get that cleaned up. And why do our running backs suck at vision all of a sudden? Can we look at the running back coach? Like, what's going on? What's being taught in practice? What's being taught in the film room? Because the issue for me, right? The issue for me is not that our run game is an issue. My issue is that it's a persisting issue. That you come out week after week after week and you say the same things and nothing is changing. So what is going on in practice? That when we get to a game situation, it's not changing. That's pathetic. Everyone in their mama, especially those that were a member of Crimson Tide Nation, said there is no way we can keep winning these games if we don't get a run game. We're getting to the thick of the season. We got to have a run game. We got to have a run game. We got to have our run game. And what did y'all do? No, we got Ty Simpson, these receivers. We're just going to boom, 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 boom. Bro, you can't do that at this stage of the year. You got to be able to lean on teams. All this finesse shit, that don't work. That don't win. You got to be able to lean on teams this time of year. But put the guys in. We got a receiver averaging 6 yards a carry. Now, granted, it's coming off of sweeps and manipulation and things like that. We got a receiver averaging 6 yards a carry. We have a true freshman running back averaging 12 yards a carry. He only got 7 carries on the season. And you keep rolling out inefficient running backs, and you have a true freshman that you just won't give a chance to. That's insane to me. And look, it's not only going to affect your roster and what your season is going to be, it's going to start affecting the recruits you get. You got another top running back in the nation, going to be a true freshman next year. But you're going to start seeing high-quality running backs not choose Alabama, at least not as long as Coach DeBoer is the coach. Because why? The run scheme sucks. Your offensive line mismatching ain't good for me. And who have you gotten drafted at the running back position? So why am I coming? I'm coming because I know Alabama has gotten running backs drafted. I know Alabama has running backs in the league that are making money and contributing to the $1 billion or whatever it is that all Alabama players have compiled in their NFL careers. But you ain't put that out there. Your coaching staff ain't put that out there. So why am I going to choose you over a UGA, a Florida, an LSU, an Ohio State, a USC, an Oregon, who's putting out some really good backs? Why am I choosing you over them? So this isn't even just about this season and how we can affect us. It's going to affect our future in terms of the talent that we're going to be able to attract. So coaches have to be better. Offense has to be more efficient. And we have to start putting efficient players in there. Like, the time for hand holding is over. And let's talk about these receivers, man. Like, I love Jeremy. I love how he's coming on, but is he a guy that I can just feed 10, 15 times? Like, I'm just getting him the ball. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. Maybe he can be, but we're not doing it. So I'm going to assume he can't. Hollywood it's a sophomore slump. Drop passes, untimely fumbles, just looking at times. And I know it's an adjustment for him playing more so in the slot, but guess what? That's where the wide receiver ones in the NFL play, baby. They're at least trying to develop you to where, hey, if you one of them ones, you got to be able to play in the slot. Because guess what? We want to have you matched up against linebackers and safeties. We want to make it hard to double you. Can't have you on the outside being exposed to cornerbacks and safeties and linebackers doing all this bracket coverage on you. No, I want to be able to give you the ball, get you the ball. And we just haven't had that Ryan Williams takeover game yet this season. Like, yeah, you can point to Wisconsin, but it's fucking Wisconsin. Like, come on, y'all know what I mean. In the nitty-gritty, when things are getting tight, you got to clench butt cheeks. Like, who's going to make the play? 2 hasn't made those plays. 5 hasn't made those plays. I already told you the running backs ain't making plays. 15 hasn't made enough of those plays. I think he's made plays throughout the winning streak, but you could tell it was taking its toll. A guy being inefficient and on deep ball, you know what that says to me? It says, one, we can't run the ball. So the defense is making it hard. It's not like he's missed some bunnies, but the defense is also making it hard because they don't have to respect your run game. I think it points to the trust and protection. And I think it just a long season where you put everything on my arm. It's probably the good thing we didn't really run him as much as I thought he would be running coming into the year, because between the throwing and the running, like, no. Like, I saw the toll it took on Jalen Murrow last year, and it was not pretty towards the end of the year. And I don't think Todd should be put in the same situation, but he is. And we got to get better. We got to be more supportive. And it's okay. We got a bunch of game managers, but hey, we need somebody for this run to try to get to the SEC championship game, this run to try to win an SEC title, to try to win a national title. You got to get somebody that's willing to take over. Who is it going to be? Who's going to step up? Um, and lastly, man, let me talk to the defense a little bit. Now, I will say this: the defense has played their ass off, and I will say this: one of the things that's the most frustrating about the offense is that we've been pointing out the same issues for weeks and nothing changes. I will at least say the defense, after being demolished against Florida State opening week, and not just attacking the scheme, attacking your manhood, your pride, your want to. Those things were put on blast after a week 1 loss. And those guys stepped the hell up, especially losing players along the way. They stepped up, next man up mentality. Everybody kind of had a little bit of that dog in them. So when I say the offense don't have no dogs in them, that defense got some dogs in them. The thing is, the defense does not have a game changer. They have guys that do some things well, that complement each other well, and it keeps you in games. They do just enough to keep you in games. But point me to an Alabama player on this roster that's a guy. You got like, oh my God, I gotta account for him every day. There's no Jahad Campbells. There's no Will Andersons. There's no Deron Paynes, Jonathan Allens, Mika Fitzpatricks. They're not on this roster. Again, a really good collection of talent, a really good collection of guys that do things really well, complement each other well. But not a guy that can just wreck a game. We don't have that. And so the fact that Kane Womack has fucking had those boys balling as much as they have been is a testament to who he is as a coach and his manhood and his pride. Because it wasn't just the players being questioned, it was him as a coach. How are you going to respond? And by damn it, he responded. Okay, he has responded. But when I say we don't have game changers there, one, it's because of we don't have a guy that you got to account for. That you just like, he cannot wreck this game. We don't have that guy. But also think about how many plays they left on the table against Oklahoma, against South Carolina, even though they had a pick six, against Mizzou, against LSU. A lot of meat on the bone. They don't have that ability right now to make you pay for your mistakes. Because game managers can't always make you pay for your mistakes. They can force you into high turnover rate plays, but they can always convert on those. They can bend, but they don't break, which we've seen a lot of. That Vandy game was a perfect example. Vandy was kind of driving even in the second half, but they were turning the ball over in the red zone and have some crazy things happen, right? Just some boneheaded plays by the offense. But it wasn't like the defense was truly dominating. As well as they have progressed from the Florida State game, have you felt that this defense was dominant? Have you identified a player yet that has been dominant? You have not. Because until further notice, you got game changers at every level, from the bottom to the top and everything in between. But hey, 2 weeks left in the regular season. Obviously, you got Eastern Illinois. That should be a cupcake. You win that. Just come out of that thing healthy, knock on wood. You go on the road, Jordan Hare Stadium at night. Your program is 4-1 in the last 5. 4-1 in the last 5 night games. The last time you played them at night was 2014. I remember that game. Alabama was going for a three-peat. We tried to turn A.J. McCarron into a Heisman Trophy winner, a first-round pick, and he threw some picks. He struggled, but he got his back in. And then guess what? Kick six happened, right? That was the last time we played them. Did I get that right? I don't know. I probably got that wrong. But that's not the last time we played them at night. Because I know I'm pretty sure we played them at night when fucking Bo Nix beat us. But we're 4-1 in the last five. So you're playing for an SEC championship game berth at a shot at either Georgia or Texas A&M. You're playing, right, for an opportunity at a playoff berth. Because if you lose and you don't make it to the conference championship game, a 3-loss Alabama ain't getting into the playoffs. I don't care that you beat Georgia on the road. I don't care that you beat Tennessee. I don't care that you beat a ranked Mizzou. I don't care. You lost to Oklahoma at home. Who's still a top 10 team, right? You got smoked week 1 on the road against Florida State. That's still on your resume. You can't just forget it just because you had some good games. And you telling me you're about to lose to a currently 5-6 Auburn team who's playing for their opportunity to go to a bowl game? And here's the thing, I don't think they give two shits about being bowl eligible. They punted on this season a long time ago. They are here to ruin your shit. They wake up for that. I mean, that's what they live for. And I can't blame them because we live for the same thing. I don't care that Auburn is down. The players don't care that Auburn is down. The fans don't care that Auburn is down. You want to kick them while they're down. You want them to realize that they're still a little bro. And they got to go in the offseason, come licking their wounds after being beat down the Iron Bowl. At least that's our hope, right? And then they got to watch Big Bro go on to the SEC championship game, win the SEC championship game, get to the playoffs, win a national championship. They got to watch that. So they don't care about their bowl like that. That's part of it, I'm sure, right? But they coming in it to ruin your party. And they know what they got. They know what that stadium is. They know they got Auburn Jesus on their side. And they're going to know they know that Jordan Hare is going to be rocking. They know that Kalen DeBoer has never been in an environment like that. And of course, somebody's going to say, "Oh, he's been at Oregon Stadium, and they're really loud. He was at Deland Stadium last year. This is one of the best home environments." Nah, y'all don't understand what I'm saying. It ain't just about the fan environment. It ain't just about the noise in the arena. I'm talking about the goddamn pressure where, and, he's been in a national championship. Like, nah. National championship is you versus another team, and y'all just want that championship. It ain't personal. It's just business. You in my way. No. This matchup is personal, and it's a lot on the line for Alabama. Auburn ain't got nothing to lose. They already fired their coach. They're doing a coaching search. Winning only prolongs their season. That's really all he does. What is driving them right now is that, oh my God, I get to ruin Alabama's chances at a national championship. And so you're going to have an opportunity. You're going to be walking into that. And how will you come out of that? Or are you going to just, we're going to do what we got to do to win the game, and we're just going to just make sure we come out of there with a win. We're just going to do a little bit here and there. We're going to, just execute as best as we can. If that's your mentality, I'm telling you right now, you're getting your ass kicked. I'm telling you going to Jordan Hare. This is going to be over by halftime. If you having this, we just got to be a little bit better mentality. You better go in there with a mentality that they are little brother. They cannot play with Alabama, and we will show them that they can't play with Alabama. They don't belong in the same conversation. The only time they should be talked about is if we're talking about what are the universities in the state of Alabama, and you happen to mention Auburn. But in terms of a football program, in terms of what happens in between those lines, they should never be in the same conversation with you. And if you go in there fucking tiptoeing in the backfield trying to run the ball, if you go in there holding on to the ball too damn long when they have a top 5 NFL prospect on their defensive line, by the way, if you go in there being lackadaisical and not punching them in the mouth defensively, they got 2 first-round wide receivers on that roster. They come into play. They come in to ruin dreams. Are you just coming in there like it's any other game? Because if that's what the mentality is, and we just got to do a little bit here and there, and you're going to make adjustments as coaches, that there are guys that have showed you for 10 weeks that they can't do it. Are you gonna put them out there? Just keep putting them out there and putting them out there and putting them out there to fail? That's going to be the difference between winning and losing. But I tell you right now, you have to go in there with a mentality that you are out there to destroy them. You have to have that level of mindset. You are going to execute so freaking hard and so freaking efficiently that those stands will clear by halftime. Fuck halftime. They will clear by the end of the first quarter. That has to be your mentality. That is a game changer's mentality. Game managers just want to get in and get out. But I can tell you right now, if you walk into Jordan-Hare Stadium at night with a mentality of we just want to get in and get out, you'll get out all right with a big fat L on your resume. And I've seen many of an Alabama team go into that stadium just trying to get out. And they came out with a loss. What's your mentality? Are you who you think you are? Are you who I say you are? At this point in time, a bunch of game managers, a bunch of puppy dogs are just happy to be a player at the University of Alabama? Is that you? Or are you someone that the University of Alabama is lucky to have you? That, oh my God, if this person wasn't here, where would we be? Are you that dog? Are you that beast? That's what you got to ask yourself. We pass all the, we got to do this and we got to do that. We got to clean up. Do you have that dog in you? Because that dog in you, it ain't going to allow for fuck ups. It's just not. It don't know no other way but to be efficient, because in the wild, if you're not efficient, you're gone. It's a bigger, better predator taking your spot. What's it going to be? We're talking about wondering if you can beat Auburn in one of its worst seasons in a long time. Like I do want to advance to the conversations of, can you beat a Texas A&M? Can you beat a UGA again when they get a second crack at you? Because we saw what happened the last time a UGA team got a second crack at an Alabama team, right? We can't even advance there. We can't even have those conversations yet. We can't even advance to, well, you were Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Utah, Texas Tech. We can't even advance to those conversations. We're taking it day by day, step by step. It's time to play like you got that dog in you. Not play like Alabama football, whatever that even means anymore. Not let's clean some things up. Not let's put players on Front Street, but don't make the necessary adjustments, but keep giving them opportunities to be ineffective. Top down, coaches, players. Are you going to make the change? Are you going to be the change? Ty Simpson, 5 games in a row, fumble. 5 games in a row, you fumble. That's 5 games in a row with a turnover, my G. You weren't even turning the ball over. You had the best uh, turnover margin, like plus minus or whatever, in college football. 5 games in a row. But it's gonna be jam. If you get another shot, where's the pride? Are you going to actually start being better? Offensive. Here's the thing: offensive line. I would say this: maybe they playing musical chairs with you because you haven't stepped up and commanded the job. You just play good enough. Because as shitty as Vandermark has been, and how well I think Jaden Roberts is better than him, it ain't like here. It's like this Gino and this Jaden. Jaden, you don't want them to pull you out. You got to be here. Hey Carol, you're a true freshman. You right here. Formby's right here. So why should the coaching staff say, I'm good with the freshman? You just right here. You haven't advanced yourself. Hollywood. You want to be Ryan? You want to be Ryan this year, or you want to be Hollywood? Jeremy, I know you hearing the buzz about first round picks, right? And oh, I can be a first round talent. Yeah, you could. The first round talents take over games. At least they're expected to take over games. And if you don't take over games at the next level, they move off of you. Defense. I I don't have to question whether y'all some dogs. Y'all got it. It's in you. Mm. But how do you feel about being just a guy? How do you feel about being talked about in that way? You know what? You know what happens to just guys? They don't they don't really get drafted. They're journeymen in the league. They may catch on, have a few good years in there for a cup of coffee. They don't really pan out as much. Or at least they don't garner the same patience that game changers do. We move off of game managers, even when they excel. Jimmy G, Teddy Bridgewater, Nick Foles. So defense, when are you gonna start changing the game? You make some plays. You make some key stops, but you leave meat on the bone. And guess what? When you leave meat on the bone, and instead of capitalizing on interceptions and fumble recoveries, you give up field goals. Guess what? You lose a game by 2 points that you essentially dominated. That happens. Is it fair to say, oh, the defense gave up less than 200 yards? And you blaming them? Is it fair? No, but fair is where they judge pigs, man. Because you missed out on plays. Offense only scored 21, but guess what? What about those interceptions you could have caught and converted for them? The possession right before the Ryan Williams fumble, you dropped the pick. So while you're playing good enough, good enough, most teams where their offense has gotten it figured out, oh, y'all are playing good and more than good enough. The 2024 or 2023 LSU Tigers would love to have y'all the way y'all playing. Y'all playing all right. But all right might be good enough for 9 wins. It ain't good enough for SEC champion. You're not playing good enough for national champion. So how you feel about being just guys? Because trust me, you ain't just a fan on this couch calling you that. For those of you that have agents, go ask what the 32 NFL teams saying about you. And if there's a defender on that Alabama team right now that's draft eligible, that general manager are willing to bet their careers on in the top 3 rounds. I'm not like none of y'all are even people that we be taking in the first 3 rounds right now. They're just guys. And that's okay. Just guys. You play okay. You might get on, right? But when are you really going to start to affect the game? That's your decision. I would argue your coach is putting you in fantastic positions. Capitalize. Or just on a long list of teams that we thought were good and they flamed out. Happens. Game changers, game managers. I ain't seen no game changers in Tuscaloosa. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just blind when it comes to y'all. Maybe I'm too harsh. Maybe. But you haven't done anything to make me feel otherwise yet. That's on you. Anyways, I know how I finished the show. If there's anything I said that offended anyone, that's a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to learn, and it's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.